Welcome to Harmonium LA, the podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Heedy Gandolfi, emotional wellness expert, founder of Harmonium LA, and published author. The world needs healing now more than ever. My goal is to bring you inspiring conversations, tips, and techniques that will help you build a sustainable healing toolkit. The Harmonium LA podcast is the only resource you will need to slow down, stop searching, and start healing. Welcome back to another episode of Stop Searching and Start Healing. So I am thrilled today and extremely excited to be introducing you to a very dear friend of mine who not only is a phenomenal woman, but really dedicates so much of her life to service to others, to giving back, to philanthropic work. She's just an absolute powerhouse. She is just one of the most grounded, really humble, and just for me particularly, just really inspiring human beings. And so I'm absolutely thrilled that she's going to be joining us today to talk about HeartMath, the work that she does with them, the training of others, and helping people really heal through connecting back to the heart. So let me give you a bit of a bio, and then we'll bring her in and let her do the talking. Erin Toppenberg is the co-founder director of The Water Bearers, which is a women-led non-profit providing clean water access for others around the world. Also actively serving on the board of directors for All You Need Is Love Foundation, empowering Burmese migrants living in Thailand through education. She has participated in many sessions at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women and Children as a delegate with Pathways to Peace, a peace messenger organization. Additionally, with all her philanthropic work, Erin is a Nam yoga instructor, universal Kabbalist, and a certified HeartMath trainer. She has trained individuals as well as large groups in how to activate the heart of team through the heart coherence. Knowing that once individuals and groups learn to tap into the heart's intelligence, their power is truly unlimited. So please join me in welcoming to today's show, Erin Toppenberg. Okay, Erin, welcome to the show. I'm absolutely thrilled that you have managed to take time out from your really hectic schedule to join us today and to talk to us about the heart and HeartMath and just all the incredible work that you are doing in the world. So thank you so much.
It is my joy and privilege and pleasure to be here with you, truly.
Oh, it's amazing. And, I can't believe that we met, it's over 3 years ago now. Can you believe that? And I was thinking about it earlier and I thought, wow, we don't see each other that often, but when we do connect, it feels like just yesterday because there's just this flow and this energy and it's just beautiful. I mean, we've done some amazing things together. I was recalling earlier, I was like, gosh, you were gracious enough way back in the beginning to come and be a guest speaker at this women's retreat that I hosted, which was phenomenal. We've hosted these charity boxing events for your Water Bearers charity together. We've traveled to Africa together. We've done photo shoots together. There's just been all these beautiful elements, and every time we connect, like I say, it feels like it was just yesterday. And you just have this incredible innate ability to just bring this awareness and this kind of sense of calm and serenity to whichever room or screen or conversation you kind of drop into. And so I just want to honor you for that and just thank you for that beautiful experience that you always bring and to have you here to share that today. So thank you.
You're welcome. I feel like I owe it to being able to be centered in my heart because I find that I'm fully present with people and I connect deeper with them. So I connected deeper with you right from the very beginning and saw just what a beautiful, soul sister you are.
A testament to you. So why don't we just start there then before we actually start with our chat today and really connect, because that's what we're here to talk about, the HeartMath and connecting with our hearts. So why don't you just take it away for us?
I'd love to. Yeah. So HeartMath is this research institute that's been studying the heart for decades. And through their science, which I'll touch on, they've come up with some tips and techniques of getting you fully present in your heart and coherent. So I'd just like to guide everyone first to focus their attention on their heart. If you're driving, please keep your eyes open. But if you're in a position where you can close your eyes, I'll invite you to close your eyes and just focus all of your attention on the heart. Now just allow the breath to come in through the heart, breathing in a little deeper and a little slower than usual. And then you'll exhale from the heart. Again, breathing into your heart, perhaps to a count of 5. Exhaling from the heart, just finding a nice, comfortable rhythm. Breathing into your heart, connecting with your own heart, your own breath. Exhaling from the heart. And do one more together, breathing in, receiving the breath of life. And then as we exhale, we share that gift consciously with others, sharing it with you, Jessica, for this moment to connect deeper with each other, with ourselves. So that's the way I like to start my day.
Wow. I mean, just so powerful. Incredible. Incredible.
And it's so simple, right?
Absolutely.
It's awareness, bringing it to our heart,
Mm.
slowing the mental, the back and forth. That's where we become dualistic, even within ourselves. Why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. All of those
All the
kind of
chatter,
things.
all of the why. And probably more so now, more than ever, right? With everything from the past 12 months, and it's ongoing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It has been a wild ride. I think it will continue to be a wild ride. And I think being able to trust in our own intuitive guidance, which HeartMath has done many studies around intuition and knowing that when people are centered in their heart, they actually have access to this other field of intelligence. They have access to intuitive guidance. So I think now more than ever, just even practically, being able to be fully centered in your heart, you'll know how to navigate in this uncharted territory that we all find ourselves in. We'll know answers to things or know where we should go or who to call or not to go anywhere,
And to trust that and to know that that's okay, instead of listening, like you say, to the chatter. Oh, you should go here, you should do this, you should do that. Knowing that actually, if it's feeling like you shouldn't, then you probably shouldn't.
Yeah. We have our own guidance system within our heart, and our heart is actually the conductor of our entire system. I wish this was taught in kindergarten. Like, why wasn't this taught to us? I was taught at least that the brain is in charge and your heart's just this muscle that pumps blood. But as it turns out, the heart is in charge of your entire system. Your heart sends far more information up to the brain, like 80 to 90% more, than the other way around. It travels up through the vagus nerve. So when we want to be optimally functioning, when we want to be coherent, which is a term that HeartMath has coined, where your emotions, your heart, your mind, everything is in sync, and then energetically there's this coordination physiologically with your hormone system, your immune system, your glandular system. Everything's working properly. It's when you're centered in your heart and when you can actually be bringing in a frequency of appreciation, of care, of kindness, of patience, of passion, of joy, of calm. And what the studies of HeartMath have found, that by hooking people up in a laboratory and actually asking them to recall a time when they felt that, they're able to shift their heart rhythms, the pattern that's going, the signal that's going from the heart to the mind. So we can, on purpose, on point, we can choose to get into this state of heart coherence. We just haven't been taught how to.
Right.
Yeah. So I love HeartMath for being able to illuminate the science of it. Um,
How did you get into HeartMath? And I know it's becoming much more familiar to a lot of people, but for those that are listening that have never heard of HeartMath or heart coherence, I mean, how did you get into that, and how, and obviously the scientific side of it is so crucial too.
I think I've always been a seeker. I've always known that there was something more in the heart. I was fascinated by Rumi as a young girl, all the quotes about, touching the divine through the heart. So I think I've always known, but I was introduced to it when I was at Agape. I was taking a class on healing beyond Western medicine, and a gentleman came in and had one of the heart monitors, this device that you can hook up and you can see whether you're in coherence or not. And he talked about how the heart has this electromagnetic field that can be measured, and HeartMath was doing all these studies. And I immediately was like, oh my God, like I have to go to this place, like tomorrow. So as this gentleman was walking out, I was like, hold on a second. What's your name? And how do you know HeartMath? And how can I get in touch with them? And he was gracious enough to connect me with somebody literally the next day. And I signed up for the very next training. And that started my journey. That was maybe 8-9 years ago. And now it's been my greatest joy in guiding people back to their own heart's intelligence.
And that's just beautiful, and such a testament of being in the right place at the right time and being so in alignment with what you are here to do on this planet as part of your own healing process.
Absolutely. You get these pings, and I think we've been taught perhaps not to follow them. Um, but when you do, the path just lines up. So yeah, it's deepened my own trust in my own heart. And I can tell you the heart never steers a person wrong. It is the loving essence. It is where you find your soul. The heart in a fetus, the first few cells form the heart. I mean, that should tell us something. It doesn't form the mind. The heart is the very first. Whatever that spark is that begins to beat our heart, that allows us to breathe, that is all life-giving, this creative essence, it starts here. So I think the journey of life is almost the journey from the head to the heart, going back to that remembrance of who and what we are, and tapping into that intelligence on such a deeper level. But I will say my heart has guided me to some pretty wild places. I never thought I would pursue or go, but life is lived forward, and you kind of look back, and then you're like, oh, you see the intelligence and the design in all of it, and the empowerment and the growth. So yeah, I think the journey of life is really about trusting your heart and having access to an open heart. And so many of us through this last, year and a half and through life, we close ourselves off. We get into worry and fear and doubt, and that closes our heart.
Yeah.
I mean, quite literally.
Yeah. Well, it's all of those low frequency vibrations that we talk about all the time, fear and shame being really low down at the bottom end of the scale of that, with love and joy being up at the top, complete opposite ends of the spectrum. And so, like you say, when you're living in that space of fear and in the mind, and listening to what the mind is telling you, it's not possible to connect with those higher frequencies. And so it's a practice, and it's something which you have to train yourself to do daily.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's comical to me because our heart is always there for us. Like it's always beating. We always forget though that we have access to it. It's like we don't even have to go to yoga class or go to this special meditation place or go to the mountain. It's like we can access that anywhere we are at any time if we just remember that we can go there. And it can be as simple as the exercise that we just did at the beginning. focusing your attention on your heart, focusing on the breath, having a rhythmic breath so that you begin to change that signal that's going from the heart to the mind, and you begin to access coherence. You begin to change the frequency on point, your choice.
Yep.
You can do it.
Yeah. And it's on demand. It's there for you whenever you need it. And it's like you say, it's a choice. Like with everything else, you can choose to live in the fear and in that sympathetic fight or flight, or you can choose to take a beat and to take a breath and to really come back and focus on that heart space and activate that parasympathetic nervous system, and to really bring in that sense of calm and focus and clarity in a second, in a heartbeat, literally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I loved, and if you're open to talking about it, but your story about your daughter, and it's quite interesting that in the beginning, if you were open to sharing what her story was, your story with her and where you are now, and it's kind of full circle almost.
Yes. My daughter is now 16 and healthy, happy, teenager. But when I was pregnant with her, they kept saying her heartbeat sounds a little irregular, but that's totally normal. When babies are born and they start breathing on their own, it should be fine. And being a first mom, you're panicked about anything and everything.
Mm.
Um, so I was concerned, but try not to worry too much about it. But when she was born, they said, yeah, there definitely seems like there's something wrong here. They sent her off. She started having EKGs, and they informed me a couple hours later that she was born with a couple holes in her heart, which, to hear that as a new mom a couple hours after you've given birth is like, okay, wait, what? Like this is not possible. This can't be right. So it was a journey with her, which I appreciated, tried to appreciate in the moment, but even more so now looking back, I was gifted the opportunity to not worry about what outfit she went home from the hospital in or any of those things, but just, is she going to be okay? How do I just love her regardless of anything, regardless of how she looks or any perceived defects? She was this perfect being. So I was able to take her home from the hospital. She had a heart monitor, and they had said she would probably need surgery to repair the holes. And yeah, the journey kept unfolding, and she had other things and different complications. But at age 3, she was meant to have open heart surgery, and the kind of the punchline of this is that we went to the hospital, and instead of us leaving as they told us, 6 weeks later with this big scar, we ended up walking out of the hospital with her. A miracle, that they had said they'd never seen. And that was partly why I was at that class for Healing Beyond Western Medicine, of trying to understand what actually happened with her. And what I have come to realize, or my own truth of what happened between my daughter and I, was the night before her open heart surgery. I remember giving her a bath, and sorry.
That's okay.
I remember giving her a bath, as I always would. And as I was washing her, I remember again this image that the doctors had told me about. She's going to have this scar, because they tell you to prepare you, so that
Yeah, of course.
know. And as I was washing her chest, I remember just thinking, you're perfect, you're whole, you're beautiful, and that's all I'm going to see. And I put her to bed that night, just feeling that way, that she was completely whole, healed, perfect, this beautiful creature, not this baby that had been born with some kind of defect, but she was perfect. And the next day was when we went to, the hospital to have all the prep work done. We had given blood, like we had other people give blood. We had gone through like a week of prep before this surgery. And as I said, the very last scan that they were doing, they were like, what? Wait, what? Where? Like the doctor was like, hold on, they kept checking. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, like, oh my gosh, could this be? And yeah, we walked out of there, and she was whole, perfect, healed, all of it. It
I mean,
actually happened.
it just takes my breath away. And thank you for being so open and so raw about that, because I think there's so much power in that. But just no coincidence that you would then, fast forward all those years, be then helping other people heal through the heart. And that wasn't even on your radar at that time, but yet it was intuitively within you, just as a mom, as a mother, just being there and just seeing your daughter as this beautiful, whole, perfect being. It's a testament to you and the power, but the power within the heart. And just, yeah, incredible, such an incredible story. And you must, I mean, now when you're working with other people, I mean, just the enormity of what you are capable of yourself and what you can impart onto other people for their own healing is incredible, Erin. I mean,
but we all have this power.
mm-hmm.
I mean, that is the truth. We all have this power. And if we stop looking at one another as defected or broken, these broken beings, and we start having right sight and looking at each other and holding that vision for one another of true wholeness and healing. Wow. What a world we can co-create together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just, I mean, a little speechless right now, but so true. And, and that's part of what you also do now as well, is the work that you do traveling with your nonprofits, out in Uganda and other places, Ecuador and other places around the world. You are living this journey of healing, of helping other people heal, whatever path that might take and look like.
Yeah, so I started a clean water nonprofit about 6-7 years ago now. Interesting to me as I'm even saying that to you, because I did the HeartMath work, and then that kind of led to the next iteration. And I never thought I would have a clean water nonprofit. If somebody had said that to me 10 years ago, I'd say, what? What are you even talking about? Everybody has clean water. Like, first of all, I think that would have been my first response. But having the privilege of being able to travel to different places, I was able to see the real need of people that in Africa, especially, they walk miles and miles and miles, the women do, to go fetch water that's dirty. I mean, it is not safe. It is not clean. But that's their day-to-day job, if you will, is to go fetch water. I mean, come on. Like, it's 2000, we got to do better for our brothers and sisters. Like, clean water is the basics of life. Water is life. So, having seen that need, I decided to step in and do what I could. And what started off as a 30-day campaign just to raise awareness for water and for the need for other people has now turned into this charity. And we've been able to provide clean water for people in 33 countries. And it's more than water, though. Again, water is life. So when you provide somebody with access to water and you empower them with that, they have hope. They have a completely different outlook on life. They no longer are walking miles and miles, but they have access to water close to them. They can grow fruit and vegetables. They can go sell those. They can earn a living. The girls can now go to school. Like, it changes everything. So it's my greatest joy. And, as we give, we receive so much more back. That really is the secret to life too.
Yeah.
And I think I was blessed to learn early on, you know, when you give, you receive.
Yep.
So it's kind of selfish because the joy I receive from seeing, somebody else thriving, it's it's amazing.
Yeah. And we all have that within us, but we just forget, and we get so wrapped up, like you say, with what we don't have and trying to hold on to, and that fear of lack and being in that space of lack, instead of realizing that we will always have enough. We will always be provided for. The universe is incredibly generous, but we have to remember that you have to give to receive. You have to create space for new things and more abundance to come into your life. You have to, and it's something as simple as cleaning out your closet. People say if you want to change something immediately, just go and clear out your closet and get rid of all that stagnant energy, get rid of everything that you really don't need, and create space for new to come in. And even something as simple as that works. But when you're looking on the bigger scale, the grander scale of what you are doing and the type of work that you're doing in the world to change the world and the way we look and live is just so incredible.
But it's one thing at a time,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's one day at a time, and I think trusting in the urges that you're getting. Not everybody's going to have a clean water nonprofit, and not everybody's going to, do things, but it's the little things too. It's like holding the door open for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
smiling at somebody, giving somebody a compliment. That is giving, and
Yeah.
that creates the kind of world that we want to live in, which is kinder, more gentle, like more heart connected. It's these simple acts, um, that people I don't think realize can have a huge impact in what's being called for right now. I mean, all of us have been inside and we're coming out and we don't quite know how to interact. And do you hug somebody? Do you still have your mask? Do you not? There's still all this uncertainty. But when you can just show up and be centered and be present in your heart and share a smile, share a compliment, it seems so simple, but yet it's these little acts that create more light in the world and create more connection for ourselves and other people. That's deeper.
I think and that word connection is key. That's crucial. That's what everybody is craving for. And it's what we haven't had for so long. And like you say, remembering that we never know what somebody else is going through, and just a kind word, a kind smile, a kind action, which is free and simple and easy, can change somebody's day, world, life. I mean, we really have no idea what that can do for somebody else. And just being able to reconnect after all these months of not being able to be in that space is crucial and healing and necessary. And so having these free, powerful tools like HeartMath, like heart coherence, are essential and so
Yeah.
needed.
And again, I think it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, seeing other people in their wholeness, in their glory, in their beauty, and not looking at, through a lens of judgment, or, that person doesn't have this, or anything, but it's learning to have right seeing. Yeah. Divinity is simplicity. Simplicity is divinity,
I
as
love
the
that. I love that the first time you said it, and even now, it's so true. It really is. And yeah, just remembering that and accepting self, accepting others, being compassionate, and living from that space is key.
There's a concept within HeartMath that I teach. It's called compassionate latitude.
Okay.
So it is about, first being compassionate with yourself, being able to breathe that in for when we're humans, we're going to do and say, things that, we're going to be in this reactive state. But first, having compassion with yourself, but being able to give that as like latitude to other people, provide that same compassion for somebody else. For you don't know what they're going through, you don't know internally what is happening for other people. So this idea of having compassion for yourself, and then that latitude of being able to share it with other people, even that, it's a very simple practice. It really is about breathing into your heart first getting coherent and then actively choosing to breathe in compassion into your heart for yourself. You breathe it in, you receive it, and then as you exhale, you share it. You share that compassion, that frequency with perhaps that person that you're having a little incoherence, with. There's an argument, there's some stuck energy. Perhaps it's been there for decades, perhaps it's just in the moment, but just being able to provide compassionate latitude to another person is a huge gift.
Oh, I love that. Compassionate latitude. It's beautiful. And again, so simple. And I remember actually when we talked earlier about the retreat, and I was talking and I said, back in the day when I used to work in sales and corporate and in that environment, it was always ABC, living by the ABCs, always be closing, and how it's changed. And I look now how my whole world has shifted and so many other people too. But the ABC is always be compassionate instead of always be closing. Let's just live from that space of awareness and heart-centered, compassion and action, and just being able to share that with others, because as within so without. And it sounds so cliche, but at the end of the day, follow your heart, because your heart will always know where to go. It really does, but we forget that because we end up in our heads.
And I think the heart, if it had a definition for what true success is, it's about living your best life. We all come in with our own, the acorn knows to become this big oak tree, right? Like there's this blueprint inside of it. Our heart contains our blueprint. Our heart knows what we want to become. So true success is different for everyone, but it's about your blueprint unfolding.
But if you're not connected to that, it doesn't stand a chance. You're going to block it every step of the way.
Yeah. Again, back to why weren't we taught this in kindergarten?
That should be your next mission. I think that's where you're headed next. Let's get this heart coherence into school. I mean, honestly, seriously, it really, that's the next step. I can see it already.
Yes. And there are programs to do that. Knowing how to access the heart, understanding the science of what's happening physiologically inside of you, I think is really important for people to understand. Just that when you're in fear, there's literally 1,400 different biochemical things that are happening inside of you. And there's this incoherent signal, as I said before, from your heart to the brain, and the signal's only going up to the amygdala, like the base of the brain. So you're stuck in this fight or flight, and you literally are depleting your entire system. So if we want to be healthy, it's like, okay, physiologically, just understanding when you're in worry, when you're in frustration, you're depleting yourself. Brain cells are being killed off, like, muscle, all of that. You're aging. But if you can just stop and you can access something to be grateful for, now there's a different change of 1,400 biochemical things that are happening. Oxytocin, DHEA, you're literally beginning to boost your entire immune system. So it is the best medicine to shift to the heart and to live from this space, and to not worry so much, what anybody else is doing or what you've done before, but just from this moment now, try to choose, compassion, kindness, consciously, living not from this place of lack, but from abundance, and simplifying. I keep learning this lesson for myself over and over, and I will just offer it, out to everyone, that this time, I think this gift of this coronavirus, this entire thing, I hope has taught all of us to simplify. And the rat race that we were all on, we got a pause button from that. And I don't think was meant that we all then just jump back into everything that we were doing before. It's to simplify. A healthy life is a simple life.
Oh, amen to that. Honestly, I mean, and I think that's just a beautiful way to end this, possibly just with that thought. Amazing. And so you teach people, you're training people. People can find you if they want to learn more about HeartMath, if they want to study more and work with you, then we'll put all of your information into the show notes so they can contact you and find you.
Wonderful. Yes, I work with individuals, I work with groups, I work with companies and activating the heart of their team. So when you get a group of people coherent, it's pretty magical. They start sensing into each other, again, accessing this deeper field of intelligence and information. But yeah, I would love if anybody has any questions or thoughts, please reach out.
Beautiful. Erin, I'm so grateful and so honored that you've taken time to be with us today and to talk about this and to share, not only your own story, which was so powerful, but all the science, and everything else that goes along with your journey that you've been through in the last couple of years. So thank you for that. Do you want to close us out with?
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would love to close us out with it's called a heart lock-in. So we first become coherent, and then as we know that our electromagnetic field can actually create change in another person when we're coherent, we're going to radiate that energy out to the world. So again, I'll invite you just to close your eyes if you're in a position where you can, and let's focus all of our attention on our heart. And just allow the breath to come in through the heart, breathing in a little deeper and a little slower than usual. And then exhaling from the heart. Just slowing all the mental energy, relax the shoulders, just breathe into your heart. And then exhaling from the heart, just finding a nice comfortable rhythm. And now as you inhale and exhale, just breathe in a frequency of gratitude for your heart, for the breath of life, for one more day, one more chance to be better, to access that heart's blueprint. And as you exhale, it's like you're sharing that frequency with others so that they may get in touch with it. Breathing in gratitude, breathing in more connection with yourself, breathing in compassion, and then as you exhale, you share it. And as you're breathing in, just imagine that all the cells of your body are beginning to light up. They're being bathed in this compassion, this gratitude, this love. And then from your heart, just radiate that feeling out into the world. It can be radiating it out into the room that you're in, radiating that out into your home, your neighborhood, your children, your loved ones. So as you breathe in this compassion, this love, this gratitude, you radiate it out and you share it with others. Now let's even go beyond. Let's share it with everyone in the US, with everyone in the world, all of our brothers and sisters around the world, all of your loved ones. We can radiate it out to the trees, to the water. Thank you, water. Thank you for nourishing us. The universe is dinging at us. And let's just take one more deep breath into the heart. feeling more connected, more present, more calm, more peaceful, more loving, radiating that out to one another, for being together in this moment, being together on this journey. And then just put a smile on your face. I appreciate you, Jessica. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Erin. Amazing. So much love. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly hope that you enjoyed the show, and there is at least one thing that you can take away from today's episode that will help you build that sustainable healing toolkit. It would mean the absolute world to me if you would subscribe to the show, give it a 5-star review, and share this or any of the other episodes with somebody that you feel could really benefit by listening. I look forward to seeing you next time.